Australia's aviation industry was an unsure, unsteady infant in 1912 when Sydney dentist W.E. Hart won Australia's first air race from Sydney to Parramatta, a distance of 20 miles. Hart, Australia's first licensed pilot, challenged American Eugene Wizard Stone, his weapon a flimsy rebuilt Bristol. A Parramatta paper enthused, "Indeed, it is no fantastic dream to forecast that one day aeroplanes will be flying regularly between Sydney and Parramatta, and perhaps further afield." Positive words, and so prophetic. Just over half a century later, the fantastic dream has become a reality due to development unequaled by any other form of transportation. Aviation has played a major part in Australia's progress. But today, not only the giant airliner plays an important role in this progress. Modern light aircraft are sophisticated, fast and safe. In fact, they are the new race. Easter 1964 and 146 light aircraft, the largest gathering ever seen in Australia, assemble at Archerfield near Brisbane in Queensland. They're here to take part in an air race from Brisbane to Adelaide over a course of nearly 1,400 miles with total prize money of about £6,000. Once refueled, each plane is ready for thorough inspection by scrutineers. Competitors are welcomed by air race officials. Polish may lead to prizes as this Victorian crew seek that little extra speed. The world-renowned Beatles find a place in the race. Among the women entrants is Miss Julie Hourigan, a nursing sister from Morwell, Victoria. Well-known aviatrix Mrs. Nancy Bird Walton is ready to contest her fourth big air race. As Nancy Bird, she operated a one-aircraft charter service in Australia's outback in the 1930s. Headed for fame in the women's section, Mrs. Sue Folks, with crew members Beverly Side and Annette Murphy. And who would guess that this Oster, owned and piloted solo by Victorian farmer Kevin Bassett, is to be a star of the event? Scrutineers check the aircraft before its takeoff on a flight which will place it in Australia's aviation history. Every crew repeatedly checks the route of the race. After leaving Archerfield, there's an optional refuelling point at Inverell and a compulsory stop at Tamworth. Then on to Sydney, passing over Singleton and Maitland for an overnight stop at Bankstown. On the second day, the 600 miles to Melbourne includes a refuelling check stop at Wagga, then via Mangalore, Kilmore and Lilydale to Moorabbin. On the final leg, it's over Melton to Nil for refuelling, then via Murray Bridge and Lindock to the finish at Adelaide's Parafield. Planes are prepared, crews are confident. But the weather is woeful. 7 inches of rain deluge Brisbane and Archerfield is closed. The conditions dictate a 24-hour delay, and the weather is also to spring another surprise later in the race. The scrutineers disregard the rain as aircraft again start to arrive. The oldest Cessna in Australia from Victoria is destined to win the special prize for the most successful vintage aircraft. Built in 1936, it's piloted by Mr. Kerry McGee. Hundreds of man-hours have been spent in preparing the 146 aircraft, as strict safety requirements must be met at all times. A part of aviation history flies into Archerfield. It's the Porterfield in which R.M. Ansett won the air race from Brisbane to Adelaide in 1936. Range and radio requirements debar it from today's race, but its present owner, Mr. John Bainge, a wheat farmer from the Darling Downs in Queensland, has flown to Brisbane for the start of the 1964 race. The Porterfield is always an attraction at air pageants, with its claim to fame endorsed on the tail. Commercial aviation was still in its infancy when 31 aircraft competed in the 1936 air race. Flying aids and air traffic control were negligible, and the pilots would not have thought that in the country's next big air race, all planes would be fitted with radio. A Gannet was one of the 27 different types of aircraft competing. 5 aircraft were flown by women pilots. The Percival Vega Gull was first over Adelaide to take the fastest time award. The South Australian capital was a welcome sight for many of the pilots who had lost their way near nil. Many had passed each other at right angles in their search for landmarks. After the race, the triumphant winner, R.M. Ansett and his single-engine Porterfield. The £500 prize money was a big help to the then young and struggling Ansett Airways. Today, the Porterfield rests on its laurels. Nearby, there's an attentive audience in the hangar for the all-important briefing on flight rules, the route and weather. Takeoff is at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Chairman of the race committee, Captain Peter Gibbs, has seen thousands of man-hours spent in planning the race. The organising committee comprises representatives of the Royal Federation of Aero Clubs of Australia and member clubs, the Department of Civil Aviation and Ansett A&A. For Captain Norman Murdoch, the race coordinator, this is the culmination of many visits to centres along the route, together with committee man Group Captain John Ashton of the Royal Aero Club Federation. Although this is a race, navigation and flying skill will be the main deciding factors. Special rules and stringent supervision will ensure that pilots can't strain their aircraft. "6:30 a.m. and a break in the weather makes all clear for the start. Lord Mayor of Brisbane, Alderman Clem Jones, signals the first aircraft away. It's a faithful old Tiger Moth from Warrnambool, Victoria, piloted by Harold Lucas. The slowest aircraft are dispatched first, followed by the fastest. Then the bulk of the field with more comparable speeds take to the air at 1-minute intervals. A tribute to the precision, organisation and efficiency of the Department of Civil Aviation's controllers. Number 2, another Tiger Moth and suitably decorated, is from South Australia, pilot John Williams. Main prize money has been allocated to the section for private licence holders. Commercial but not airline pilots compete in a second section. The thunder of a V12 engine announces the Mustang fighter of Jack McDonald. It's out to claim the fastest time award of £350 and trophy. Smallest and oldest aircraft in the race, a 1932 Comper Swift flown by Mr. Bob Burnett Reed, designed specifically for racing and not for comfort. A Saab Sapphire, an entry from Tasmania. Three aircraft, including this Cessna, flew across the continent from Western Australia to compete. Dr. Dorothy Herbert from Queensland takes off in one of the 7 aircraft commanded by women pilots. An air race is a welcome change for the crew of this Lockheed, which normally carries out aerial surveys. The Stimson Reliant is destined to draw a crowd of admirers along the route. With its distinctive design, this type of aircraft has been popular throughout the world. elderly Cessna is ready to compete against the younger generation. Two 18-year-old Adelaide girls, Sue Williams and Christine Henderson, are keen contenders. Another South Australian entry is flagged away. A Fairchild, formerly owned and flown throughout America by Lord and Lady Casey, is the last to leave. 146 aircraft, comprising more than 70 different types or variants, away in what is probably the largest air race held in the world. Several minutes later, the weather is to close in again and more rain falls. Compared to the busy scene of a few hours earlier, Archerfield appears deserted as the field heads south. Pilots have to identify specially placed markers along the route to show they've not deviated from the course. A Tiger Moth may seem slow at 100 miles per hour, but its reliability could earn prize money. Already, the fast aircraft have outstripped the slow machines, which were first to leave. With a string of aircraft approaching the first compulsory stop, officials at Tamworth are geared to refuel and clear them for the next leg to Sydney. Maximum stopover time is about an hour as officials check the aircraft. Split-second timing is necessary as planes continue to arrive while others leave for Sydney. Crews report that flying conditions are ideal. The race is off to a good start. Tamworth is normally a busy airport and light aircraft often make use of its facilities. Many crop spraying planes are based here. Adults and children are fascinated by the array of aircraft. Wouldn't it be great to be a pilot? The Cessna 310, a favorite with many for main honors, makes a winning picture. Nancy Bird Walton is keen to emulate her earlier success in the 1936 race. Sydney and the light aircraft airfield at Bankstown provides the first overnight stop and a chance to check progress results. Officials record each aircraft as it flies over the top. And first in, as expected, is Jack McDonald's Mustang. He's averaging about 350 miles per hour. Another overhead. A time card keeps the record. Jack Masling's twin-engine Cessna is performing well and is second in speed only to the Mustang. Control tower staff are kept busy as each pilot reports when 5 miles out and identified immediately above. Then it's in for a happy landing. One of the older aircraft in the race, an Oster piloted by Mr. D. Kennedy of Wingelow in New South Wales, lands just ahead of the modern Beechcraft Musketeer with Brian L. of Yarralumla, Australian Capital Territory, at the controls. Marshals are waiting to direct them to parking areas where all planes are lined up for servicing and refueling. Former fighter pilot Harold Lucas finds his Tiger Moth to be slow but sure. There's little time to relax, and crews make their aircraft shipshape for the next stage. The first day's results show that the slow aircraft are keeping closer to their handicaps than many of the other types. Easter Monday morning, the rooster crows and the intrepid bird men and women prepare to migrate south. Cars are provided for transport to the waiting planes. In typical feminine fashion, Christine Henderson makes sure that everything is spick and span. The Duco's getting more wear and tear than the engine. Sue Williams finds that the oil is at peak level. With Christine's brother John in Tiger Moth number 2 is John Kingsford Smith, a nephew of the famous aviator. Wonder what Sir Charles would think of John Henderson's beetle wig flying hat. It's warm-up time as the aircraft prepare to fly to Wagga and then Melbourne. Oh, for some brakes or a steerable tail wheel. Look out, Jack's after the slow ones. It's clear flying to Wagga, but entrants are destined to be held there while an official DC-3 aircraft checks the weather ahead. It's bad, but the planes can get through. However, the notorious Kilmore Gap will have the last laugh. After 2:20 p.m, aircraft are told to land at Mangalore, about 70 miles from Melbourne, and wait for the weather to clear near the Kilmore Gap on the route to Melbourne. But for those who did get through, Melbourne is a welcome sight. Jack has stopped trying for the handicap prize, but he's flat out for the fastest time money. Again, dozens of officials are ready. The control tower keeps in touch with each aircraft. Time recorded. Jack's fighter pilot training is evident as he brings the mighty Mustang to another smooth touchdown. Masling's Cessna is the scratch aircraft and is still running second in speed to the Mustang. Thanks to good navigation, everything is going as planned. Thousands of people turn out at Moorabbin Airport, and Sue Folks, Beverly Side and Annette Murphy get a big reception. Once again, an overnight stop provides a well-earned rest. Combining the role of pilot and navigator, Kevin Bassett, a wheat farmer from Gurambit in northeastern Victoria, doesn't realize that he's well on the way to winning the main prize. Bassett bought his 12-year-old Oster 2 years ago in Borneo and flew it to Victoria. Only 88 aircraft make the final lineup at Moorabbin, as the other 58 are stranded at Mangalore due to the weather. Later, judges rule the Wagga-Melbourne leg of the race abandoned. Bright sunshine augurs well for the last day of the race. At dawn, the aircraft from Mangalore fly to Melbourne to take up where they left off. Bad weather conditions are left behind as the field heads for Nil and Adelaide. It's up and away. There's a prize to win today. Clearing the trees is E.D. Mills, one of the Tasmanian entrants. Perfect flying conditions are a blessing for the now weary crews. Hours of flying, tending aircraft, charting routes and attending briefings have tested the skill and stamina of the crews. But now, Nil is below, 200 miles from the finish line. Those miles flow beneath Masling as his sleek Cessna keeps to its handicap speed, cruising at over 200 miles per hour. Jack's an early bird again. Now over Adelaide, ahead of schedule, he's spotted, and line honours and the fastest time award are his. Deadly as a fighter and magnificent in an air race, the Mustang is a real crowd pleaser. A speedy Cessna 210, still carrying its American registration, nears Adelaide and the Parafield light aircraft drone. Prizes await some crews, while all the entrants have received valuable experience, plus the satisfaction of completing one of the world's greatest air races. The South Australian tiger moth is back in its home state. The two tigers have duelled throughout the race and each have won a sectional prize on the last day. The tigers are still among the few civil aircraft types in Australia permitted to perform aerobatics. It's been a long and satisfying haul for John Kingsford-Smith and John Henderson. They've proved there's still plenty of excitement and exhilaration in flying light aircraft. Parafield is a welcome sight. Tonight they can relax. There's the presentation function and the chance to take home trophies and cash. All different shapes, sizes and speeds flock into Parafield and are quickly handled by the many volunteers serving as officials. They don't know it yet, but Richard McLean and Roger Barnes in this Chipmunk will collect the trophy and cash for being equal second in the main section. And they'll receive another award for being the most successful Aero Club entry. Here's the winner, Oster number 3. Unassuming Kevin Bassett is in for a shock tonight when his win is announced. The fields arrived, and without incident. A tribute to flying skill, DCA control and organization. Now, behind the scenes, the officials are busy collating the handicap and performance data. The main hangar of the Royal Aero Club of South Australia is crowded for the presentation function. This race has been so successful that I'll sponsor another one, says Mr. Ansett. The trophies await the winners. Well-deserved praise is given the crews by the Director General of Civil Aviation, Mr. D.G. Anderson. It's a proud moment for Mrs. Sue Folkes as she accepts the ladies' special prize from the then Minister for Civil Aviation, Senator Shane Poltridge. The fastest time award to Mustang pilot Jack McDonald. An impromptu award is made to Sue Williams and Christine Henderson, whose flying has been typical of the skill of today's young pilots. Kevin Bassett is astounded when announced winner of the main award. A tremendous performance in a highly competitive field. Well, the race is over and now it's time to head for home. Many of the big field have won prizes, but all have contributed to a major milestone in the progress of light aircraft in Australia. Australia's achievements in aviation will always be linked with light aircraft. From the aero clubs come many of our commercial pilots, men whose flying ability equals any in the world. Light aircraft play an important role in outback development, supplying such services as aerial top dressing. The plane does in half an hour what formerly took days. General charter work, private planes and aerial mail services have overcome the isolation of outback homesteads. In the tradition of W.E. Hart, Kingsford Smith, Ulm and our other aviation pioneers, today's pilots are among the world's best. They and their aircraft are a vital part of Australia's development. Truly, they are the new race.